So hi everyone, welcome to Chopsticks Alley. We are excited to have to speak with you today on Chopsticks Alley Talk. We welcome you back to our show. And as you know, we like to bring topics that are relevant to the Asian American community. I am your host, Trami Crone. And today we also have Esther Young, who will be producing our virtual talk show today, trying something new during this COVID-19 time. And she's going to be managing our technology. Our show is also currently live on Create TV Comcast Channel 30. So hi, everyone. And you can also access the show at the end of the show on chopsticksalley.com and also on our YouTube and Facebook. So we want to say hi to Esther real quick.
Hi there, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
And to help us with today's topic, which we find mental health to be such a taboo topic for the Asian American audience, we have invited licensed clinical social worker Zui Pham to join us. Hi, Zui.
Hello, Trami and everyone. Thank you for having me here today. Hope everyone is doing well.
Yes, I think that, we're staying in place and that's the order of the day, and we're doing our best here trying to stay sane.
Yeah, me too.
So as you know, this whole COVID-19 thing is affecting everyone regardless of socioeconomic status. And it impacts all of us from financial, physical to psychological. And we wanted to do this show so that people know they're not alone in feeling anxiety or depression or feeling some kind of stress to adjust during this time. So Zui, could you share some of the issues that our Asian American communities are facing today?
Sure, absolutely, yes. So I think the big one right now is the fear and the worry about your own health and the health of your loved ones. And of course, because of that, right? So it can impact your mood, your energy, your concentration, and change your sleep. And of course, because of those things, and then it can impact, if you have, any current medical health issue, it can getting worse. And also if you current, have any mental health condition, it's also getting worse. So I think that's a few things that I can name right now, but there's so many others. So I think it's the most important is to take care of your own health, both physical health and mental health for now.
What are some common symptoms that, because sometimes you may not even know you're experiencing anxiety and depression. Like personally for me, I feel hot all the time. I'm not going through hot flashes, folks, okay? Not yet. But no, not yet. But I feel like it's, I feel anxious. I feel like I can't sit down. I have to get up, sit down, get up. Like just everything I'm doing is very different and feels extra stressful. So I know it's a stressor of some kind. So can you share some of these symptoms?
Sure, definitely, like you just shared, right? So that's kind of, we are feeling on the edge, right? So we cannot even sit still, right? So, and definitely your temperatures raise up, and then, your body temperature is raised up, and then you cannot be able to sit down. That's why you feel hot a little bit in terms of your temperature, right? So in terms of the depression, so like for instance, you lost the interest or pleasure to doing things that you used to do, of course, because right now we are in shelter in place, so we cannot do much outside, right? But we still certain things that you do inside the house, and then you don't feel like you do it anymore, or you're feeling down all the time and you feel hopeless. You feel like, oh my God, I don't know what my life will be. Right? So, and because of that, and at night you have trouble to sleep, or even you sleep too much, which is none of them is healthy for you. And also, even though you don't do anything, but you feel tired or you have no energy to do anything, poor appetite, or you overeating. And then you grab anything, chocolate, anything inside the house, and then you try to eat it, put in your mouth, right? To comfort yourself. And of course, and then you also feel bad about yourself and feel like that you're a failure, you're not live up to yourself or to your family member or you feel like that you let your family member down, trouble concentration, you cannot be focused, like, you do one thing and then suddenly you forgot what you are doing, or people like try to call your name, but you ignore them because you lost the concentration. And sometimes the worst symptom can be that you have a thought that you don't want to live anymore, or you want to hurt yourself, or you hurt others. So that's a common symptom that people usually have when they go through adjustment or to change. Of course, when you have those symptoms, right, that's something for you to take precaution. That's side that telling you that you need to take care of yourself. But it's not necessary that you are, have severe mental. It's just the first stage that something that telling you that you need to be careful and taking care of yourselves. Yeah.
So are you seeing a surge, because you work for Aki and you guys specifically work with Asian Americans in Santa Clara County, are you seeing a surge in mental illness or people coming to you for help during this time?
So definitely, so because I think it's yes, there is, as we have quite a few referral coming from the call center, but I think we have right now, we have few quite referred Vietnamese elder people who are 72, above 70,
Wow.
first time to call in, to seek mental health services, So yeah, so there's a trend, as a lot of people is reaching out to get extra support, at this point, yes.
I'm glad that they're reaching out, so that's a positive thing. But I guess the isolation for elders, normally it's already pretty bad. And now with COVID having to stay home, it's probably even worse, right?
Correct. Yeah. Even for us, right? Isolate is not the positive thing to do, right? Because we all encourage us to go out to interconnect with other people, stay connected. But if people who already, get isolated, but now the COVID-19 is creating more. So just, yes, it's getting the situation getting worse. So yeah, it's not really the good, situation right now for those people to get in. Yeah.
So what are some ways we can cope with this stress?
Yeah. So I think definitely, because right now, if you turn the TV on, right, it's 24/7, all you hear about is COVID-19, all things like that, right? So I think
all day.
Yeah, all day long, right? So from the YouTube, from the Facebook, from the CNN, local news, right, wherever that, right? So I think the first thing you need to do, take a break from watching, reading, and listening for those news, because, those things, if you constantly, listen 24/7, it slowly, eat in your mind, and your mind will preoccupy, all about the bad thing, what you hear from the TV. So I think that is the first thing that you need to get away. So yeah. So of course, like I mentioned earlier, so I think taking care of your body. So you are the only one know what your body needs. So I think is positive thinking and stay hopeful. I believe that we can get over this. I know it's challenging right now, but if stay hopeful that we can be together and get over it, so that will be the good side. And whenever you feel anxious, take a deep breath. Step outside and find something that you like to do, either yoga, meditation, Tai Chi, whatever that activity or spiritual activity that you prefer to do, engage those activities. And absolutely, also eating healthy. Try to well balance to your meal and exercise regularly. Of course.
Wait, hold up. Back up to the eating healthy, right? So everyone's been cooking up a storm, like making bread. Even the Asian people who don't make bread now make bread. So are you sure, like, we can't eat whatever we want, like chips and all that?
Absolutely. I'm not saying that you cannot eat it, but I think it's maybe be mindful when you're eating, right? And instead of, if you make the big loaf of bread, right? Instead of trying to finish all, right? So just maybe eat either half of it or quarter of it, just
That's
small portion,
true.
right? So I think it's because I think it's the shelter in place is also the good time for us to be creative, right? Like you said, you become baking and find your strength. With that, I think that's also the good thing if you look from that angle, right?
Yeah.
So creativity, so that's good. But yes, for in terms of the meal, yes, try to be mindful what you eat, and eat a portion and balance it out. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we'll do.
Yeah.
And then exercise. Oh my.
Yeah, exercise, right? So I know. So right now, all the gym is shut down, right? So you cannot go because maybe for some of us, that's the only motivate that you go to the gym. We go to the gym and we can exercise, right? But right now, we cannot do that. There's so many other options we can do, right? Take a walk outside, do some stretch. Like myself, right? I try to create a little. I can find whatever is in my house. I can live. I can do a little exercise for
I
myself.
lift my dogs and cat all day long.
Beyond the way, I feel that the 1 liter bottle of water, so I use that to lift a little bit, to exercise, to make my body move a little bit inside the house.
But
So
not
yeah,
lifting like alcohol. Like
no,
that's
no,
not a good.
which is my second point is avoid alcohol and drugs if you can during this time.
Okay.
So yeah, if you need to drink, like couple 1 glass of wine, before bed to help you sleep, that's great. But again, don't try to finish the whole bottle, which is not healthy for you, right? um, yeah, and the last, because we are human being, we need to stay connected and we independent. We cannot survive alone. So even though that we cannot meet face to face, but again, Zoom, FaceTime, anything that you can stay connected with your friend and your loved one, doing that and share the good thing that in your life with each other. So I think that's those things that you can cope with the current situation right now. Yeah.
This one is an interesting one because I'm hearing from a lot of friends right now that they do want to connect, but it always requires some screen time. And it kind of feels like in order to wind down, we need to be away from our screens now, which for some people is new because usually winding down is like Netflix, chill with a glass of wine. So do you have any recommendations for like how many hours a day we should have for screen time?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I don't have the absolutely, the certain hour, but I think that's like I mentioned earlier, you need to listen to your body and also to balance out throughout the day, right? So if you, for instance, if you've been working for the whole day, right, on the regular day, for 8 hours, right? So you can, it's just okay for you to have the screen time, couple hours, or but if you screen time the whole day, Netflix and chill and drink, so that's it's not really healthy. But I think it just depends on your lifestyle. Just do a little bit, balance it out throughout the day. So I think that would be good.
That's a good tip. Let's talk about kids. In Asian households, we tend to assume that kids have no feelings or something. At least that's how I grew up. It's like, eat, do your homework, watch TV because I don't want to be bothered with you, and then that's it. Right? There's no like, how are you, child? Are you feeling okay? Like that's all on TV, right? In real life, Asian household, no. I mean, it's like, right? So how are our kids? Are they going through this stress? I imagine they are. I don't have kids, but I have dogs, and my animals are like freaking out right now. Having accidents in the house. I think because they're like, why are you people home? Y'all need to leave, right?
Yeah.
So share with us, how are youth doing?
Yeah. So I think is regardless your age, right? Like I mentioned, is we are human being. Doesn't a child, a young kid, or adult, right? We all have feeling. Yes, the culture pieces, as long because the Vietnamese culture that we tend not share our feeling, but it doesn't mean that the children doesn't have the feeling, particularly for the one who grow up in the US, right? So they are more Western, so it's just, and also, checking in, asking your children about how they feel. That's all also very important. And then that can help them to increase the self-esteem, because they can acknowledge that, somebody care for me, I'm good, so it can, checking in with the kids, it can be the good thing for so many other areas when they grow up. So there's a few feeling, symptom stress that the kid usually go through, that again, not all the kids go through the same thing, experience the same symptom, but I think the common one in children and adolescents is irritability. That's they get cranky, then they get upset, angry really easily. That is the time that they are stressed out, right? So, and also they might returning to the behavior that they are outgrown. For example, like toileting accidentally or bedwetting. They worry, the sadness, and then, same like with us, sometimes they are overeating, they binging eating, they oversleep or they don't sleep at all. I'm sure the kid is still in school, they performing poor in school and avoiding school. And absolutely, cannot focus on their homework, or, and the parent asking them to do something, they cannot finish the task, and of course, because of worry, they also try to avoid all the activity that they enjoy in the past. And sometimes they come to the parent, they say, hey, I got a headache, body ache, pain, but they cannot explain why. And of course, adolescents sometimes is they use alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs to cope with the stress. So I think it's very important for the parents, for the adult to check in with the children, to see how they feel about this. Because whatever we're going through right now, how anxious we are, the kid, they go in the same thing.
Yeah, it's important to support our kids, because sometimes we just, at least in Asian household, we're so quick to start scolding them. Like, what do you mean you don't want to eat? Or what do you mean, go do what I say. I sound like I grew up in this horrible household. But it's very common, and to them it's not a big deal. It's like they're just telling you what to do, but for us as parents or as guardians, we have to really maybe you can share with us, like, how do we share support of these kids? How do we do that?
Yeah, I think it's the first thing is, the parent, or the adult need to stay calm, try not.
That's hard, because we're freaking out ourselves. Like, how do we, yeah.
So I know it's easier than done, but I think that's it, the first thing, if you truly really want to support your kid. Because again, when you come to your kid to say, hey kid, don't worry about it, but your nonverbal show that you are freaking out, you are anxious about the situation, right? So how can they believe in what you're saying, right? So the first thing that you need to stay calm. And then if you cannot do it, like I mentioned earlier, the basic sum of the strategy to cope with the stress, you need to learn how to, to keep your stress under the control. So having said that, so yes, talk to your children or your teen about the COVID-19 outbreak. Again, I think it's because there's so many sources, so many news, on the social media. You need to find the sources that you trust, because some of the information is not really true and correct information. And then when you talk to your kid, so make sure that you have the correct information, to talk to your kid about it, and answer the question and set the fact about the COVID-19 in the way that your kid or your teen can understand. Speak the language that, appropriate for their age,
I think that's a good point, because in Asian families, we tend to shield our kids from issues, right? We think that's the right thing to do. But obviously, COVID-19 is affecting everyone. It's everywhere. And if you're not going to talk to your kids, it's kind of like about sex. If you don't talk to them, someone else will. And it's important to talk to them in the language that they understand, like you say. And it makes them the having the ability to express themselves, to even just talk about it, is a huge relief, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I think it's like one thing is in our culture, right? So because the parents sometimes think is, oh, if the kid knows too much, it will trouble them more, right? But that's it not true. Because if we share with the kid, yes, if we share the wrong information for the kid, yes, they will trouble more. But if you share the appropriate, healthy information with them, that is good for them, so they can learn the skill, they have the correct information, so they can protect themselves and people around them. Because we think that they are the kid or the teen, they don't understand, but no, they do understand. They know what's going on. So just be honest with them, share the fact, and talk in the language that they can understand. Don't hide, don't afraid that just share with them openly. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Right. I also want to add, I remember when I was in middle school, going into high school, there was still a lot that my parents wouldn't always share with me because, like Trami suggested, they didn't want to burden me. But now I'm a young adult, right? And so I noticed my parents are both willing to share the problems they go through and talk about it with me, and even invite me to share what I would do in that situation. And I think that has really opened up our relationship in a way that could have possibly happened sooner, but whatever it is, I think it's a lot healthier than it used to be because of that.
Yeah.
That's great. So there's a silver lining in all this. So if you talk to your kids, you're going to be able to connect with them. Parents, come
Definitely.
on.
Yes. So I think as when you talk to your kid, right, so you both understand each other more, and then the bonding will get stronger. So in that way. But I understand, because sometimes the fear, the parent try to protect the kid. They think that, the less they know, the less they have, to get in trouble. So they try to protect that. But again, it's not necessary. It's just healthy for all the time. Yeah.
So currently, how are you able to counsel your clients during this shelter-in-place order?
So very much right now, all the services will be provided through a telehouse, secure video chat, which is, so that is the, we make sure that we comply with the federal state regulation. Just make sure the confidentiality is secure. So yeah.
So we, at the end of the show, we're going to be sharing phone numbers and resources for our audience, and also, of course, on our website when we post this video, and everywhere possible. It's really important for us to bring this topic to you, and we want to thank you, Zui, for coming and talking with us today. And it's a very quick topic, but I think we have a feeling that you need to come back and talk more in detail. What do you think?
Sure, I'm happy to come back. Thank you again for having me here today to share this information with you.
Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
And Chopsticks Alley, we are really grateful and thankful for you for joining us today, where we create, share, and connect content that are important to the Asian American community. And we're going to have Esther share the rest of the important information about today's show with you. Thanks, everyone.
Yes, so today's show was sponsored by Thomas Lowe Farmers Insurance Agency. And also we have here contact information to access mental health, as Dewey told us about today. And also, if you would like to sponsor our next show, we invite any of you viewers to email us at chopsticksalley@gmail.com. And for more programs like this, to have another discussion with us, please do follow us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter at Chopsticks Alley.
Thanks, everyone. And Zui, I'll probably calling you on Zoom because I need some mental health counseling.
You are here. I'll keep you all here for you all. Okay, thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.